The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. We're just waiting for a couple of our audience members to dial in and log in. So we will be beginning the presentation shortly. So thank you for your attention, and we'll give it about a minute just to let people log in and get into the system. It is only a brief 30-minute presentation. We hope that you will enjoy the discussions that we will be having in the presentation we've got for you. So I'll come back in 30 seconds or so. Just remind people that we'll be beginning just about a minute after. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're excited to share with you how data governance can transform SLED organizations in just 30 minutes. I'm your host, Robert Lutton from Sandhill Consultants. And joining me today, I've got the pleasure of introducing Jeff Giles, who also lives in the greater Boston area. Welcome, Jeff. And in addition, I have the pleasure of introducing Joe Pasnisi, who is the Quest account executive for these same territories. So welcome, Joe and Jeff. I know we'll be referring back to you in a couple of minutes as we go through this. So just before we dive in, a few housekeeping notes. We do want to hear from the attendees, from the people listening this. So you do have the question on your little dialog box on the right-hand side to enter in questions or put stuff in the chat. We will be monitoring those questions. This session is being recorded, and we will be able to send out the recording afterwards. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in and make the most of our time together. Today, we'll be exploring strategies that will empower our guests to harness the full potential of your data, ensuring compliance, enhancing efficiency, and driving better decision-making together for our agencies. So this is definitely geared towards the SLED organizations, which obviously include state, local government, education, public sectors, and we certainly do see that these organizations face a unique data challenge, from leveraging AI, supporting regulatory compliance, to ensuring data quality and accessibility. We see and agree that the stakes are high. Today, we'll review why data governance is critical for these organizations and how it can address these challenges effectively. With robust data governance, we hope to turn these challenges into opportunities for growth and innovation. And then we'll wrap up with some Q&A and call to action. So again, we would ask you to leverage the questions that you put into the question box on the right-hand side. So it's interesting that as we work with key agencies, key government agencies and industry leaders, as well as esteemed organizations like the EDM Council or the DAMA organization, and even our own favorite MIT CDOIQ Symposium down there in Boston, a mosaic of critical challenges begin to emerge for SLED organizations. These challenges include AI governance, data governance, integration, data privacy. You can see this word map of the key things that we're seeing that our SLED organizations are dealing with. Each of these elements is essential in navigating the complex landscape of modern data management. Understanding these challenges isn't just about identifying problems, but by recognizing opportunities and the ability to transform these challenges and into the growth areas. It's our hope that by addressing AI ethics, ensuring robust data governance, and streamlining the integration process, and upholding stringent data privacy standards, we can turn these obstacles into stepping stones. Today, we're going to delve into these issues, explore practical strategies and solutions that can help, hopefully, your organization not only meet but exceed its data governance goals. So let's embrace these challenges as catalysts for innovation and excellence in our SLED community. In our research that we have done with data governance communities and the SLED agencies, we see that data governance is critical for several reasons, and we wanted to highlight these reasons. Yes, it can boost compliance by addressing regulatory requirements, and hopefully as easy as possible. By enhancing efficiency, we look to reduce the costs through automation processes. We look to empower business decision making by providing reliable data for strategic actions. And like anything, we want to make sure that there's some kind of fast payback for streamlined governance. And in addition, we'll obviously have a chat about some real world scenarios and highlighting these benefits. So over the next few slides, we'll unlock these benefits together and hopefully chart a path to transforming our data practices. So we want to start off with a key process that you'll see throughout our presentation, which is implementing data governance. While it can seem daunting, if you have the right people, the right process, here's a maturity model process that we'll be talking about, and the right technology, we certainly see that it can become manageable. In fact, by using the combination of Quest's offerings, such as the Erwin data modeling solution, such as the data intelligence solution, and Quest has been in the data management space for more than 30 years. Quest has helped leading SLED organizations as well as leading organizations around the world to advance their data maturity and get more value out of their enterprise data. Jeff, maybe I'll pull you in here for our first kind of comment. With your experience in looking at these types of frameworks, I know that you're a DIMBOK certified professional, you're a DCAM certified professional working for Sandhill, but can you give us an understanding of an overview of how you think this framework will help organizations?
Sure, thanks, Robert. Yeah, when you look at this, it is in effect a framework, but the framework itself has a series of steps which progresses you through. So it's kind of a framework with a maturity model on top of it. And so when we look at the bottom level here, where we're talking about models, modeling is essentially where a lot of metadata gets collected. And that metadata, of course, is also used to capture data. So the idea to start at the bottom here with modeling is good because it helps us understand what data we have, right? It also helps us understand maybe where we have it located. So that's the architecture side of things. And then when you progress into cataloging, if we're going to collect all this information and store it, we need to be able to find it. So cataloging is more than just sticking it somewhere where people can log in. It's the ability to actually start to define what we would call a taxonomy and an ontology so that you can locate the information you want when you want it. Then as we progress up, curation is really just talking about let's bring in data that's maybe outside the organization so that we can enrich with different contexts, because data has lots of different contexts. It could be, context of the public-facing data. It could be internal data to us. It could be regulatory data, information that's come from state and federal governments. And then there's the govern part of it. Now, once we've got all this information in, we want to have some kind of oversight about it. So when we look at this, we're really talking about the idea that we've got the information. Now we just have to make sure that we apply the rules and the policies to make sure that the information is quality information. because once we have quality information, then we start to really increase the value of the data. Now, the observation part is really just trying to prevent what we would call drift. You know, when we start to look at the information, data over time begins to drift, and what was once quality data starts to become less quality. Same thing with metadata. So that's why it's important to have some sort of data quality, data profiling concept on top of this. And then you can start to score it. So then you could say, okay, this data is fit for use for a particular purpose, because all data isn't exactly the same. You might have data that's got an 80% quality rating. You might have data that has a 50% quality rating. It's just how you want to use it that depends on the quality scoring. But it is useful to have the quality score, because that's where you start to add value and people start to use the information. And then once we have all that, then we can actually present it out to either the general public, if possible, or internal to various agencies, so that they can start to ask certain questions and run analytics, get answers to things, run reports. Now, even though this is a 7-step process which shows a progressive movement from the bottom to the top, you could start anywhere. You don't actually have to do models, right? You might have data already that's not in models. Doesn't mean you can't catalog it, doesn't mean you can't curate it and govern it. So you could start anywhere in this process to begin maximizing your data value. And so with that, I'll just turn it back to Robert.
Thanks, Jeff. Again, a good overview of what we want to do is we want to delve into these 7 steps and give our readers an understanding of how we see how they might be able to attain these particular steps. So step 1, which is model. Again, we believe that the first step is to model your desired state using the Erwin data modeler solution. This helps design your to-be state and ensures consistency for governance. Syncing the models with Erwin DI, the data catalog solution, can help jumpstart your data intelligence, your business glossary, and your transformations to make sure that everyone is on the same page. This clear vision and consistency are what we believe the foundational components for successful data governance programming, ensuring and setting the stages for all subsequent steps. So before we go any further, we wanted to make this a little bit interactive, and we wanted to take a pulse of the organization here and just ask if you're using a data modeling tool, and if you are, what type of data modeling tool you're using. So let me just go ahead and launch this tool. So Jeff, can you tell me, and Joe, are you seeing this poll?
I can see the poll, yes.
Excellent. Yep. So for our attendees, if you can go ahead and select what type of tool you're using, or if you're not using a tool, we'll give you a little bit of time to just collect those responses. And again, we're just after an approach here, so we want to be able to see what our clientele are using. So we'll give it another couple of minutes. I know there's quite a lot of you out there, so we do appreciate that. So I'm going to close this poll in a couple of seconds. Any last minute options there? So let's go ahead and close that poll. And I just want to just briefly share this poll so you can see that most of the clients, which is interesting here, about a third, 2/3 of our organizations out there have a modeling tool, and they're using data modeling. There are some organizations that are not using a data modeling tool. We can certainly help you with that approach. We'd love to chat with you on that. So let me go back, and so now we should see my next slide, Jeff, which is step 2. Can you just confirm that?
I can confirm that I can see it.
We are back on track. So step 2, which is cataloging. And again, Jeff had mentioned this is the next step. So we suggest cataloging all of the data assets. This means storing metadata, budget data, inventory, in one centralized repository. There are automated data connectors, crawlers, if you will, that can help ingest and refresh this metadata, providing enterprise-wide visibility and understanding of your data landscape. From our point of view, a centralized data management increases visibility and ensures that you always know what data you have, where it is, which is essential, crucial, if not, for effective data governance. So moving on to step 3, as mentioned, creating data involves enriching it with business and organizational context. This process makes data more valuable by tying it back to the agency's objectives and goals. Using erwin DI can help all users, regardless of the technical experience and expertise, understand data relationships, explore lineage, and gauge the quality. Enhancing the data value and improving the understanding empowers all users to make informed decisions, which is what we're after. We'd be remiss if we didn't actually talk about any kind of a data governance framework, the content, the knowledge, and where we like to start from is that data governance starts with principles. It starts with policies and ethics and standards. And so Sandhill, working with Quest, has a very straightforward data governance framework, which we call Compass. We can extend data literacy across the organization, ensuring that data is governed effectively and efficiently. And by embedding these principles, we can create a culture of data stewardship that supports compliance and operational excellence. Step 5 is observation, and observation is key to maintaining data integrity. Again, using the erwin DI tool, you can monitor your data lineage and do impact analysis across your entire platform to help modernization efforts if that's a key area for you. This proactive approach helps maintain compliance and data quality, as you can see from this image here. Continuous monitoring and impact analysis are essential for adapting change and ensuring that your data remains accurate and reliable. Move on to step 6. Jeff had mentioned this, but we thought we'd kind of show you what the screenshot looked like. Scoring your data quality is important, is essential. erwin DI provides tools to profile, score, observe, and remediate data, thus giving you visibility into data fitness and volatility of your data. This step ensures that your data is reliable and actionable. By regularly assessing data quality, you can identify and address issues promptly, maintaining high standards of data integrity. Moving on to step 7. So we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the transformative role that AI is all of a sudden playing in the SLED organizations, and in fact, in every organization we deal with. We believe it's crucial to ensure that our AI systems are transparent and trustworthy. Imagine a world where AI isn't a mysterious black box, but a clear glass box open to scrutiny and understanding. We see this shift as important for several reasons. One, protection from unsafe or faulty AI systems. 2, protection from discriminatory AIs or algorithms. 3, the right to data privacy and security. 4, the right to know when you're interacting with AI. And 5, the ability to opt out. The bottom line, embracing AI governance to ensure ethical, transparent, and secure AI systems is critical for our clients in the SLED community. Step 7 allows our community to shop for data, ensuring high-valued governed data is easily discoverable and accessible. erwin Data Marketplace provides a centralized location for finding, comparing, and accessing datasets, ensuring that data governance policies are adhered to. As Jeff says, our 7 steps are a flexible maturity model or process, and you can start anywhere and go anywhere. So if you have a modeling solution or if you have a data cataloging solution, that's great. If you just want to do some marketplace shopping of data sets, if you want to do some profiling, if you want to really know a little bit more about the transformation, the data lineage, let us know. We just want to make sure that you know this approach is a simple approach to leverage your data assets for strategic initiatives, driving innovations and operational efficiencies. So in the following slide, we've got some real world examples from SLED organizations that have successfully implemented data governance and other Quest offerings. These case studies are key areas that have shown improved operational and cost savings criteria. And these successes can show how transformative the performance of data governance is when applied effectively. So, Joe, we know that it's very difficult to get SLED organizations to talk publicly about their successes, but I wonder if you might take a moment or two to outline some of the successes you have seen within some of these organizations here on the screen.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Robert. So yeah, these are some of our current customers using Erwin and implementing this data maturity roadmap. Obviously, this webinar is geared towards SLED organizations, which may be generally more shy to share the success, but just wanted to give you an idea of the type of organizations that are successfully using our solutions today. So I wanted to give a few highlights. There's many benefits that implementing a tool like this can help with, but here are some of the top use cases. Basically, with Erwin, our customers are empowered to share knowledge and efficiently collaborate around data as a team. They can see how simple it is for all data users to shop the best fitting and high value data for their needs, redistribute trusted data assets from many environments with proper data governance guardrails, and deliver and govern the data products and develop data models easily across their organization. And from a persona perspective, there is many different business and technical users who can benefit from implementing Erwin. So we have many business and data analysts using Erwin to search and review and request products and data sets in a trusted and collaborative environment. We have data scientists and engineers who want to document and govern AI models and create a center of excellence for their AI models. We have DNA teams and reporting teams who use Erwin to understand the ingredients for their reports, data value scores, and how the data came to actually be. Data protection officers are interested in the level of compliance of the companies with the internal and external expectations. And data analysts and engineers who are governing or implementing changes to the IT landscape use Erwin to understand the impacts of their intended changes with our impact analysis feature. From a data quality perspective, educational institutions specifically rely on alumni data for advancement marketing campaigns, for example, and may encounter issues if alumni data is incorrect or contains errors. This can make their marketing efforts less targeted and less effective. So Erwin can help with overall engagement. And from a government perspective, government organizations rely on accurate and timely data to make decisions on public policy, resource allocation, and even emergency response. So poor quality data can often lead to misguided decisions, inefficiencies, and public distrust. As an example, in public health, accurate data on disease prevalence and demographics informs strategies and health interventions. Touching base on regulatory compliance again, data governance ensures that data is handled in a manner that's compliant with laws like GDPR, HIPAA, ADA, FERPA, etc. We help our clients establish processes to identify and protect sensitive student or citizen data. And for data integration, obviously, data systems are becoming more complex and there's more flexible architectures, so we can ensure data consistency, interoperability, and compatibility across data integration projects. So our clients use Erwin to basically understand and utilize data, effectively turning data into a strategic asset. And we look forward to working with each one of you guys to promote a data-aware culture and get the same results by empowering your teams with the necessary skills to work with your data.
Joe, thanks very much indeed. A lot of good information across the board for all our agencies. just following on to that, again, we have gone through and started to recognize that Quest solutions streamline data management, boost accuracy, accessibility, and security across sectors. erwin data modeling, standardized data models and structures. erwin DI enhances catalogs and analysis. And I did see a question about erwin Evolve there. We will get to that, but obviously erwin Evolve helps with understanding the business processes and how do you deconstruct that. So we'll get to that as well. And let's not forget Sandhill's Compass product ensures robust data governance. Together, they all drive significant efficiency improvements, cost reductions, compliance and transformation from transformation of data into a strategic asset. So Jeff, I wonder if you might just be able to just take a minute and maybe talk about the performance and efficiency that we're seeing by agencies by adopting these types of solutions across the whole gambit of the SLED community.
Sure. The big takeaway from this is, of course, that there are improvements in all three areas: data reduction, efficiency, and other additional metrics. Now, in some instances, there's like a very dramatic improvement. In others, it's less dramatic. But the major takeaway is that by governing the data that you're collecting, it makes your organization better, because you have higher quality data, which is more valuable for doing things like reporting and analytics, and not wasting a lot of time, energy, and space to collect data that you can't use. It doesn't have a lot of value. So the takeaway here is that data governance definitely increases the value of data.
Excellent. We will come back to questions just at the end there. So thank you. Please keep putting your questions into your question box. We will come back on that. I just want to be able to have our second and final poll, where we'd like to hear from our audience about where you are on your data governance journey. Are you just at the self-education stage? Do you feel like you're ready for more of a demo on the erwin DI or DM side of the house, or are you looking to do a trial? So, Joe, while I launch this poll, one of the questions that we might actually ask is if you can maybe explain the difference between a demo and a trial.
Yeah, sure. So a demo is where we take usually an hour or so to guide and walk you through a tailored presentation of either erwin Data Modeler or erwin Data Intelligence with a technical sales engineer. And we'll highlight, the most important features and capabilities. And we'll also speak to you about what makes your organization unique and review your specific use cases and how you could envision using the tool. So definitely encourage questions and participation to get answers in real time, whereas a trial is where you'll interact directly with the software and evaluate the tools on your own. It's more of a hands-on experience where you have full control and can explore the tools at your own pace.
Great. And Joe and Jeff, can you see this poll? I'm just looking for people to go ahead and respond.
Yes.
Yep, I can see it.
All right. So if the audience would go ahead and just put in your responses there, we'll give you another second or two just to make sure that you're getting your input into that. Looks like we've got pretty much our results. So I'm going to close that poll there and I'm going to share that. And it looks like from what we're seeing is that most of them are just at the educational self-awareness stage on that. So, which is good for us, because one of the things we're going to do is in the chat feature, I'm going to post in the links where you can actually download the information for erwin, more information for self-awareness and self-education. And if you did want a trial and a demo, we can do that. We will also send the links out with a recording when we do a follow-up. So, okay, so We noticed that there was a couple of questions in the chat feature in the question box. So what I'm going to do is in the last minute or so, just as we hit the top of the bottom of the hour here, Jeff, can I maybe get you to address the first question, which is on Evolve, right? So Evolve is our enterprise architect tool. So can you speak to where the Evolve products may fit into this overall architecture that supports data governance?
Sure. Evolve is, well, it's a different category of modeling, right? So you have Erwin, which does data modeling. So you do tables and entities, attributes, things like that for data storage. When we look at Evolve, Evolve is all about understanding the processes by which you create the data. Sometimes people call it CRUD. So you either create data, you're going to read data, you're going to update data, or you're going to delete data. These are processes. So what Evolve helps you do is to understand what are the systems that do that, what are the actual processes that do that, right down to probably individual groups and organizations responsible for doing those particular processes. So that's where Evolve fits in.
Great. And just one last question. I know that we're running over time there, and we would like to thank everyone for attending in. But do you have any other examples of type of metrics? There's obviously data reduction, there's improved efficiencies. When we were working on this, what other types of metrics do we see organizations gaining from implementing data governance efficiently and effectively?
Well, okay, those are the big classifications of metrics, but there's also metrics for resolving, let's say, miscommunication, right? So you can have, because you might have let's call it RACI, where you have let's say, data owner that's responsible for interpreting different things, like the definition of something. So the idea is that you can say that the communication level between the different organizations has gotten better because of data governance, because now we have people accountable for data. That's one thing that you can use. Obviously, there's the data quality stuff, which is pretty easy to measure, where you basically do profiling on, let's say, at one point in time, and then you do profiling again, let's say a couple months down the road. And the goal is to see that the data quality begins to increase. And of course, if it doesn't, then you know that you have to go back in and do some more work on data quality. So those are two basic metrics that you can use. Also, the other idea is that you need to have security around the data, especially these days. And so having metrics that say, what systems do we actually have out there, which Evolve would probably help you with, and then who has access to those systems, and then within those systems, exactly what data do they have access to. So then, one of the charts that Robert was showing earlier with the little donuts there was essentially saying percentage of people who have access to different systems. So from the security perspective, there's a metric there that you can start to use to define exactly who should have access to what data, and we govern that to make sure that we don't just give access to anybody for anything.
So Jeff and Joe, thank you. I know we've gone over just a couple of minutes, but to conclude for our audience out there, and for anyone listening after this webcast, we urge you to take the first step towards implementing a robust data governance solution in your organization. Start small, use the right tools, have the right process, and see the transformation. Now, if you've got additional questions that you'd like to know more details, please email us at info@sandhillconsults.com on the website on the page there. And with that, Joe and Jeff, thank you indeed for joining us today, and also to our guests that have attended this webcast. Thank you. Together, let's lead our agencies to data-driven success, ensuring compliance, efficiency, and strategic decision-making at every step. Thank you.